Welcome everyone to a Disciple Men podcast. My name is Antonio, and of course I got my guy Billy here. And we got a little something special for you all today. So we don't have the regular crew. We had to bring on two other individuals who have a background that has some depth in the conversation we're going to have. And I think you get a lot from this here. So let me bring everybody on. All right, so to my left over here, we have Sydney.
How's it going?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then right over here, we have Lamar.
How's it going, everybody?
All right, all right. So these gentlemen here are here to help us have a conversation about law and youth and the choices we make, where that can put you in places, and how we can make better decisions to make sure this world's better after us, okay? So with that being said, got a couple questions for you gentlemen. We'll kind of get those off. I want to get your perspectives, and we'll go from there, all right?
All right.
My man. So my first question is, from your perspectives, right? One enforcing the law and one having lived on the other side of it. What patterns do you see that lead young men into trouble early? And Lamar, let me get you started with that first, please.
I would say not being able to understand or control their emotions.
Okay.
You know,
There you go. Sydney, what you think about that, bro?
A lot of youth come from fatherless homes.
Okay.
So that play a big part too.
Gotcha. I will say this, man. From my own experience, half the problems I didn't have was because of my father.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared of nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin Storms, I ain't want that smoke. Not at all. So if they said, I'm going to call your father, hey, I'm good.
Yeah.
Whatever y'all need me to do, I'm doing that now because I don't want no problems with that guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To this day, I'm 45, but still, I don't want those problems. What you think about that, Billy?
Yeah, man. Just what Sydney and Lamar said, man. For me, it's conflict resolution because not able to solve the problem, as was said earlier, is that everybody, in my opinion, what I've seen over the past several years is that young people tend to not want to talk about whatever it is that they're dealing with at that time, because most of the things that they're popping off about or this fight or altercation that can end up where somebody's dead or in jail or whatever the case is usually a misunderstanding.
Yeah, a lot of
That if
times.
they would have used those conflict resolution skills, which, and I'm sure have probably never been taught because, we mentioned the father in the home. They would have got that,
Yeah.
And so without that, they're just popping off. And a lot of times it's showing off.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to be the punk,
Yeah.
Well, it takes the bigger man to walk away, to say, hey, you know what, man, my bad, my fault. And even though it may not be your fault, you didn't cause that situation, but it takes the bigger man to stand up and say, you know what, man, my bad, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody wants to say that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that have been in some bad situations from a misunderstanding, or I gotta say, face in front of these people. So
Yeah.
I'm a crash out in front of you because I can't be no punk in front of everybody. I gotta show hard.
Yeah.
And now you got 20 years you do it
Right.
because of that one decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I've got family who's been in jail, had to spend some time in there because of one split-second decision. They're out now, doing well. You see what I'm saying? But it was a tough road getting back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those one decisions. It's like in hindsight, you're like, man, this is so dumb. But in the moment, you're thinking, I got to make this move because this is my rep on the line. This is my name on the line. And if I run today, I'm going to run the rest of this time.
Yeah.
So I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. Can each of you share a moment where you saw how quickly one decision, a fight, a traffic stop, or a bad influence changed someone's life, whether through an arrest or incarceration? And so let me get you started on that one for me.
I'm going through that right now. Straight up. Yeah. But traffic stop
Mm-hmm.
got me in some for real situations right now. You know what I mean? But that was on accounts of me. You know
Sure.
what I mean? My lifestyle, how I was living at the time. So yeah, that could change a lot
Definitely.
quick. Things go left quick. You know what I mean? When you thinking everything sky high, skydiving, you know what I mean? You free falling, you know what I mean? You chilling, and it's over.
Yeah.
Right now, you know what I mean? I'm facing a lot of time right now. I mean, just on behalf of my lifestyle,
Right.
what I used to, how I used to live.
For sure.
I'm trying to change things.
Respect.
That's
Respect.
all right.
All right, Lamar, what you got on that, man?
I mean, let me say this. My grandfather always told me that if a man can't control his emotions, he can't control his future.
Okay, wait. You can't be
wisdom.
dropping bars like that, man.
Yeah.
Say it one more time in the public, man. Look them in the camera when you say it.
My
too.
grandfather always told me that if a man can't control his emotions, he can't control his future.
I like that.
So I think that's really, really key, and one of the keys, and very, very important that we must learn as soon and quick as we can.
Yeah.
You know?
I got you. Okay. What
Absolutely.
you think on that, man?
Yeah, man, that's spot on. What Sydney said, what Lamar said, man. As a father myself, and a grandfather now, that's one of the things that I would always teach my sons, and we all got different backgrounds. You mentioned your grandfather. Man, that's my dude,
Mine too.
because I didn't have a father in the home,
I never knew my father.
Wow.
and so,
Okay.
why my mom and dad divorced. I was 4, but thank God that I had a grandfather. That man was solid. He was the rock of the family. But then I had uncles, my mom's brothers, and they were just like father figures. Even though they were cool, they taught me a lot of things, how to fish. I'm from down south, so we fish and we hunt and we build things, and men, we got out and worked, but they taught me all of those things
Gotcha.
about the car, changing tires and all that. So I'm 13 years old and I can do all that stuff, and but one thing he taught me is that control your emotions and
Yes.
things like that. Think things through. When things happen, think it through. Then I left there with all that knowledge of my grandfather, my uncles, went right into the military, 24 years. So it's nothing but discipline, especially when you become a leader. That's what you're doing. You're instilling discipline and pride in those young men and women that you're training.
Yeah.
And so therefore, my sons knew, son, if you get stopped on when you're out there, I used to teach them that. Now, maybe other cultures or the other hue, they probably didn't have to teach their kids that because there's a certain privilege come with that. But for those young men of color out there driving, 16, 17, my sons, that if you get pulled over, you just simply do what the cop asks you to do.
Yeah.
That's because your fight is not on the road, son. If you feel that you haven't done anything wrong, guess what? Just comply. Do what he say. You're good. Everything on the car is good. The license, registration, you're clean. So simply do what he or she asks you to do. And once we figure this thing out, you make it home safe. Call me if you need to, whatever the case. And we will figure it out. Do we need to appeal this? Or, well, son, that's good for you because you shouldn't have been speeding. That's the type of dad I was.
I'm going to share this with you, right? I got 5 boys, right? My 5 boys have never been in a fight in their life.
Really?
Right.
That's awesome.
And the reason for that is they understand mental health,
Yes.
right? So I set my kids up because I work in and around law enforcement. I set them up with a folder and everything in their car, in their vehicle. So if they ever get pulled over, everything is right there.
Right there.
Right? But the first thing they must do is understand who they're dealing with,
Yeah.
right? Because we see law enforcement as authority figure, but they're still human.
Sure.
They have bad days, good days, and et cetera.
Like all of us.
Right. So
Tough job.
I tell my kids, if you notice anybody in law enforcement you're dealing with being overly aggressive, this is where you got to take control of the situation and be quiet. You know what I mean? Give him what he asked for or she. do whatever makes them feel safe, and comply, because you're not going to win on the side of the road.
No.
Your fight is in the courtroom.